This is blowing my mind.
The brand pays you directly whatever you want to get paid. We only get paid from the company if you guys agree on a negotiation. So we don't take anything from the creators and we don't pay the creators. The brand does.
You're absolutely disruptive.
I'm a disruptor in anything that I do. That's what I enjoy. They know that I'm like actually working on their behalf and want them to succeed. And I'm not doing this to just maximize profit for our company. I think that the ROI actually will be beneficial.
You're speaking it into existence.
You need to be community focused. Don't monetize too early. Stay consistent. Put a content counter together. Treat it like a business. Build a team around you. I think a lot of people need a little bit more order.
This is going to be massive.
That's the goal.
Our guest today, like Jon Snow, has lived two lives. A former professional athlete turned founder, content creator, and subject matter expert. He now consults both Fortune 500 companies and SMBs through his companies, BARNETT and CreatorX. He also creates content on all social media platforms on topics such as business and marketing. And for me, the thing that I love the most about what he does is that he creates content for creators, daily content for creators to learn how to not do better, but just to try new things. He is a vigilante of views. He is the Lord of likes, the king creator, JT Barnett.
What an intro. That was incredible. That fired me up.
Let's rock.
Let's do this.
Let's dive right into it.
I'm excited.
JT, we've chatted in the past, but it's first time meeting you today in person. What do you do? Just explain to me, like, what is it that you do?
So as a creator, I just love people. That's the first thing. I love people, and I feel like we're in a time right now where anybody has the ability or the opportunity to be a creator. So technically my audience is creators. But what I like classify that as is like anybody who has a unique story or a unique angle that they can tell to the world, which is, everybody in the world. So I
was waiting to hear you say that.
Yeah. So I think my content applies universally, which is why I don't have like a core kind of like niche or of individual. It really is just like people that want to share the things that are going on in their life. And I think that the platforms that we have that are available to us right now have allowed anybody on the street to really build audience. So I talk to those people. As a company, what we do, I've kind of found my lane in teaching other companies how to create content, because most big businesses don't really understand how to create the way that a creator does. And you and I know, like, creators are the best at building community and the best at building audience. And big businesses typically don't look at it the same way that creators do. So we go in and kind of act like that outsourced creator for them and teach them how to do it. Sometimes that's actually like bringing somebody in-house. Sometimes that's just giving them strategies. But we try to teach brands how to act more like a creator.
And when you do go in, does it seem like they think they know what they're doing?
In a sense, like a lot of them know how to sell products through typical marketing channels, but it's just the landscape of marketing changes so fast. So a lot of them that are now 10, 20, 30-year-old companies that have been around for a while, it's just gone through so many iterations that now it's in a new phase. Like, think about TikTok. So when TikTok comes out, rather than them trying to like adapt and learn how to do TikTok, they would rather bring people in that already know it, that are like specialists at it, to teach them or to even just run it themselves, rather than spend the time to learn. So that's where we go.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned TikTok and you asked me, a little Jewish geography, this homie. So a little over 2 years ago, so it's February 2020, and I've told this story on a pod before. I took Nick and Aaron out to Nick Diao to see some apartments in the West Village. And we went to lunch afterwards, and I tell him, I just recorded my first podcast, February 2020. And he says, you're done with the podcast. It's a terrible idea. Get on TikTok. And I'm remiss. I'm like, TikTok is for preteens doing dances, and that's it. And every video looked like it had so much production value. And I was like, there's no way this is going to last. The amount of time it takes to make one video, people are going to make 2, 3, 4 videos and get burnt out. Not the case.
So this was February 2020. So fast forward later in that year. So Nick and I were just kind of like chiming back and forth, because Nick's always been a dude that I've gone to for just like advice and just what should I do in this case, because he's lived it. And him and I were talking about TikTok, because I had started vlogging on YouTube, and I was like, bro, and then like pandemic happens. So I'm vlogging, I'm living at my fiance's family's house, and it's just me and her 2 parents in my vlogs. And I'm like, I don't have the cast that I feel like I need to have a David Dobrik-esque kind of vlog. And he was like, have you been really posting on TikTok? So I had been kind of like messing around with it. I dove all in on it around the same time that he did. And we both had this kind of like aha moment of, oh shit, like TikTok is real. Like he had a video that had like 25 million views overnight of like his girlfriend getting lost.
I remember.
And so that happened very well. That happened. And then I had similar experiences of just like random videos that were popping up. So then me and him were like, why don't we actually start a TikTok house? And then him and I went in business together, started a TikTok house. And that account went from 0 to 1 million in 60 days.
What was it? The Hive?
Honey House.
Honey House.
The Honey House. Yeah. And Honey House after that went to 1 million in 60 days. Companies started hitting up me and him saying, can you consult? And he had got a new role with his team with Gary. And so he was like, I don't have that much time to do this full time. I was like, I want to do this. I love it. And I think I was more like, Nick operates more on the business side of things. And I like really loved actually just creating the content.
And not looking at an ROI.
I love business side too, but I think that if I were to look at like a percentage, I'd say I skew probably 65% content and the rest of it business. And I think Nick's kind of flip-flop. So we're both
45 business is still
I love the business,
big number.
but I wouldn't pick it more than I pick the content. Where I think that Nick would flip. I think Nick likes a business more than he likes actually creating, but he's still very creative, which is why we fit really nicely when we did that together. So we crushed that. I started consulting for brands. The first one was a beverage drink called Poppy. Poppy popped off.
Who owns Poppy?
Allison and Steve Ellsworth and Kavu. They're a Kavu brand. So Poppy popped off, no pun intended, and they did $100,000 with one organic video, just the founder talking into the camera, holding the drink. That for me was a real aha moment in a business way of people need to learn how to do this because it can really move the needle for them as a company.
How were you able to monitor the ROI from that one video?
They could see it. They weren't doing anything else on Amazon, and they used a discount code. And the discount code on Amazon was like the vast majority of it. So that was a crazy moment. And then I was like, this is what I want to do. I love teaching. Like, obviously, in my content, like I really just I like being the person that can spark ideas for people. So knowing that I could do that in a content setting for businesses and it actually like work for them was like this is some shit that I'm like really fired up for. So that was what I started. I started consulting and I started BARNETT X. That was the beginning. And then Creator X became the arm off of it because the only pushback that we had from companies was, I really want to do this, but I don't have the time or the bandwidth. Can you find me somebody that I can hire as an employee to come and do this? So I started making videos on my personal TikTok saying, is there anybody that sees this that wants to run brands accounts and make a video every day and get paid $3,000 a month to make a video every single day?
So you crowdsourced for talent.
Yes. Through TikTok. 1,500 people signed up overnight, 8,000 people now. And it's literally we've never spent $1. It literally is just me making videos into the camera saying, guys, I'm in meetings all day with businesses. They don't know how to make content. They want to hire people like you. They're usually paying like $100 a video. If you're somebody that like could really use $3,000 extra a month to make one TikTok per day, please go and sign up because I want to try and find you guys business. A lot of people are interested in that.
And then what's the next step? So someone's like, I want $3,000 a day to make content for said company, Poppy. What would be another example? What's another company?
Super Coffee. And we've done it for bigger business too. Skechers. We've done it for Microsoft.
Super Coffee is pretty big.
Yeah. Super Coffee. We found them a creator. And it fully depends on what the brand wants. Like some companies are like, we want a female in Los Angeles who's into health and wellness. Other people are like, I want a 35-year-old male in the middle of the country that's into tech.
And are you going to get that guy via TikTok?
Yeah, we try and find any and every. Our specialty would be probably health and wellness, LA, male, female, our age.
Now, were you using, before TikTok, do you internally go through your Rolodex and think maybe I have someone in my network that could do this first?
That was the first thing I thought about. I was like, damn, do I know anybody that would want to run X, Y, and Z brands TikTok? But I didn't have enough. And it was like literally like every brand that I was talking to was like, we want to get on TikTok, but we don't have the time. Can you find us somebody? So I was like, all right, I need to do something else to get more people in this. And it's not just through my Rolodex. So then I made a video. And then I literally went to sleep and I woke up and had it in a Google form. And in the Google form, 1,500 people. And it's like, and I put like a 46 question type form.
And they all filled it out.
They filled it out entirely. And I even in one place I wrote like, write 3 to 5 sentences about you and your passions and your hobbies. It's like thorough. It's detailed. What you would charge for 30 videos. So my thing is, my long-term thing is creators. I want to work with creators. And I think I'll always work at the intersection of creators and business. And I don't ever want to take money from creators. So it's never been like a percentage thing of what you get paid. We take a cut of it. It's the brand pays you directly whatever you want to get paid. We only get paid from the company if you guys agree on a negotiation. So we don't take anything from the creators and we don't pay the creators. The brand does.
So you connect them with no monetary, nothing monetary coming to you.
Exactly.
With the but you don't have a deal with the...
We have a deal with the company. We're a headhunting firm with Creator X.
Got it.
Headhunting, traditional headhunting model is company comes to headhunting firm, says, hey, we're looking for a head of HR. We have $150,000 salary to pay. Go and find us somebody that's worked at these 3 companies or that's in this demo. Headhunting firm then does whatever they can to find this person, gets on conversations with them. And if the person's interested and meets with the company and actually signs a contract, then the headhunting firm takes a cut of that contract. I didn't want to take a cut because the sad thing about the headhunting firms is they're always trying to get the brand to pay more so they can take a bigger cut. And sometimes it's just not the right kind of feel. So because of my long-term thing is to work with creators, I'm like, I don't even want to be in the negotiation. You guys, I'll put you in a room together. You guys work it out. If you work it out, cool. If you don't work it out, we won't take a cut. I give like estimates. So I'm like, typically most creators are charging around $100 to $200 per video. This is like when I was starting. Now I think it's a little bit more, and I think it'll continue to be the more.
Oh, it's more now.
Yeah, I think it'll continue to be.
Okay.
Because I think the value of creators is going up, and people are realizing how impactful it can be.
In my mind, I would think that the value goes up, the amount of creators grows. So supply and demand. If you have more people willing to do the work, then it'll cost less to get it done. That sounds to not be the case.
I think it's still so early that I don't think it's really reached like critical mass where it's like everybody knows that this is a job. It's so early that I think to even find these roles is still so new. So I think the price will continue going up until it reaches probably a peak. And then it's like, this is where it's maxed out right now. And majority of the people won't make more than this. And then the more people that join, it'll kind of bring it down a little.
Is there anybody in the space doing what Creator X does? This is blowing my mind. My wife is a recruiter, so I've been around this. I hear her interviews and yada yada. But what you're telling me, what Creator X does, you're a disruptor. You're absolutely a disruptor.
I'm a disruptor in anything that I do. That's what I enjoy. The way that I'm doing this, though, I think it just fit for our model. Because again, if I wasn't like long-term, I want to work with these creators in my database and have a relationship with them, I'd be like, let's manage these creators and like try and take a cut and maximize the price of the brand pays.
And you're vetting them out before you're pushing them over.
We vet them out. Yeah. Right. We vet them out. And I talk to them. I know majority of them, like majority of the ones that come through the door, somehow at some point I have a conversation with them because
in the past.
Or like right before it happens.
Got it.
Because I want them to succeed. I want the brand to be happy. I want the creator to succeed, meaning like I want them to have a business, like making money with the brand. I want the brand to be happy and I want the account to perform. So even if sometimes I had like a masterclass that I put out. So I give that to the creator. So I'm like, here's how I would run a brand account. If you want any of these videos to just like walk through them. And then a lot of them, like I'll actually like get on conversations with and be like, here's kind of my thoughts around what you could run.
So you're there as a lifeline.
I want to be, yeah.
100%.
Which is another reason why it's hard to scale what we're doing. I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, let me invest. Let's turn this into a tech platform. Let's automate it and let's like blow this out.
No, because then you lose value.
I lose the human quality which I think is like really what I noticed in business means a lot to me.
You love hospitality.
What does that mean though?
What does that mean? That means doing right by people. That means that touching people and them remembering you, not for just who you are, but how you made them feel.
100%.
Giving people, like, just being nice to people and giving them like fond memories, and not like going above and beyond, but it's little things.
Well, I think that that's the real currency, because I don't think that I think that most people remember how other people made them feel rather than just the thing that they did. And so I could make a creator $5,000 for a month by like managing it and like blowing it out a little bit, and then be like, all right, you're out of here. And they're not going to care about me making them $5,000. They're going to be like, yo, that was a really shitty experience. That didn't make me feel good at the end of the day. Rather than if they know that I'm like actually working on their behalf and want them to succeed, and I'm not doing this to just maximize profit for our company, I think that the long-term ROI actually will be beneficial. Like, I think if monetarily, I think the long-term ROI will be beneficial.
This is awesome. How old are you?
30.
Special. If you were going public, I would invest in you.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
That's special. So 30, let's rewind 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into this? What was the story that brought you into content creation, that brought you into people?
I was a pro hockey player I played semi-pro from 15 to 20, and then pro from 20 to 25.
Where'd you grow up?
Scottsdale, California and Scottsdale. Not a typical hockey place.
No.
My dad was a hockey player, turned into a hockey executive. I was born into it. Loved it, was my passion. And then grew up, moved at 15 to go play with family in Canada. Lived in Canada for 5 years.
Where in Canada?
Around Vancouver.
Okay, so grew up West Coast, stayed West Coast.
Yep, West Coast always. Stayed in Vancouver area for 5 years, and then turned pro, played pro 20 to 25. And the way that content I think got in my life is hockey is very black and white. It's very conservative and very non-emotional is the way that I would put it. Content and creativity is inherently more emotional and more colorful and less black and white.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a very balanced individual. And so I think that hockey only served one side of what I really wanted. So I always, literally from the time that I was probably in like 5th, 6th grade, was doing creative shit. I was making videos at a little flip cam that I was filming on. I was doing MySpace. I was doing Facebook. I was making music.
How big were you on Vine?
I don't know if I was big. I probably had 10,000.
Okay. Well, when I mean big, I mean how often were you on Vine?
Every day. Bro, if you pulled up the last 30 social media platforms, I was on all of them. All of them. Every one of them. And here's the thing for me, it's like it was an outlet for hockey. So it balanced out that like creative side that I needed to like continue playing hockey. So I would leave and I would produce music. I would be on Facebook. I would be on MySpace. I would be designing clothes. I'd be drawing. I'd be doing all different types of artsy kind of shit. And
living where at the time?
Living in Canada, and then in Canada, and then when I played pro all throughout the US, bunch of different cities. And then I played in Russia for a year, and I played in France for a year. Those are my 2 last years.
How was living in Russia?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I played for the Russian army.
What do you mean the Russian? Like, is that the name of the team?
Yeah, CSKA, CSKA, Red Army. Dude, there's a lot to it.
And you were creating content while you were in Russia.
Yeah, so this is like what got me like really into it. So when I was playing before, when I was in Canada, I was the dude on my team because again, hockey, very black and white, conservative. Nobody's doing creative shit. They're just like, let's play hockey, let's go home, let's sleep, let's wake up, let's play hockey. I was like, I'm going home, I'm making music, I'm making beats, I'm messing around with things, I'm drawing, I'm doing clothes, all this.
Wait, were you used to this? Like in high school in Scottsdale, in Vancouver, were your teammates the same way? So like growing up, you always just had teammates who were wake up, hockey, eat, do whatever,
always.
Not creating,
always.
No music, just hockey.
95% of them. I'd say 95% of hockey players are like Canadian. And again, it's nothing against them. I love hockey players. I love all the dudes that I played with, but majority of them grew up either in Canada in a small town where hockey is everything and was literally their life, their whole life. Or just like, it was just like really like ingrained with them, like family members, or they played it from a young age. So like they lived, eat, sleep, hockey. Like that was it. And for me, I don't know what it was, but there was something, I think probably growing up in California and Arizona, that like there was a spark in me that was like, I would like more than just hockey. So I didn't grow up on like I didn't grow up in like Western Alberta with a farm. I grew up in Los Angeles and in Scottsdale, seeing like creative arts and entertainment and a lot of different things. So I was intrigued by other stuff at a young age.
And you had your friends who, outside of hockey, were doing all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And so in high school, majority of my friend group, I would say, wasn't hockey. It was baseball players and football players in high school, and people that were living just like a normal kind of high, like kids' youth life. And so I saw them being really into different music genres that were coming up and going to festivals and like things like that. So I was into that. So that like was really like the balance of my hockey career. So the way that gets me into content is when I moved to Canada, Facebook was the platform, and I didn't know how to really connect with my friends and family back home. So I just really went hard on Facebook. So I would just show everything that was going on my day. Not everything, but I would just like talk about what's going on in my day, talk about where I'm at, music I'm listening to, things I'm doing. So Facebook was big for me. Then Instagram came out, and Instagram was the first one you could do visually. And so I started posting on Instagram, and I saw that people would build followings just by showing photos of things. So I became obsessed with that, started posting all the time on Instagram. Every hockey player that I played with was like, what are you doing? Nobody posts on Instagram that plays hockey. Why are you showing this kind of stuff? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. But you were letting people into your life.
Yeah, I loved it. And I had people following me for it. So I was like, this is cool. People care about this. Even though my hockey team doesn't, I care about it because I'm connecting with different people. Then when I went to Russia, this was like where it started to get real for me. I went to Russia. Snapchat was kind of popping at that time. Everybody started using Snapchat. And I was playing for the Russian Red Army. So they had four, you can have 4 imports on the team, 4 people that aren't from the native country. So 4 non-Russians. So I was one of 4 people on the team that was for the Red Army. And I would go up and down from their first and second team. The first team was in Moscow. The second team was 2.5 hours outside of Moscow in a town called Chekhov. It's like a town of 15,000 people in the slums of Russia.
And what are you being paid at this point?
The second team, probably like $30,000 US. The first team, probably like 90 or 100 grand. So it was a big, vast difference in pay and also in lifestyle. First team, Moscow's a nice city. It's like New York. It's like beautiful. There's areas where people speak fluent English. It's great. The second city that I was in, which I was in for 75% of the time, was the slums. I was in a Russian dorm, which was an old military base, taking 14-hour bus rides with guys on my team needing to go play. We didn't fly anywhere. Actually, we flew one time. We landed at not even in an airport, just in a field. And so I was documenting all of this on Snapchat. So I was showing people what my life was like in this Russian city on Snapchat, and people loved it. They were like, what is going on? And it was a private, it wasn't like a public thing where I was getting hundreds of thousands of people.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, but people were really intrigued with the Russian life. And I wasn't even a star player. So for me, I was like, oh, people don't care that much about the stats. They care about like the personality behind the content. So for me, I was like, I can show, it doesn't really even matter if I'm playing. As long as I'm part of this team and can say like, I'm still a pro hockey player, I just want to show like what I do on any day. So that got me like really intrigued into like the build a personality and like build like a lifestyle brand.
And how much did you care about the follower count going up at this point?
Didn't really care. It was organically, but Snapchat, I don't even think you built followers at that time. It was more like you added friends. So I had a lot of like people that would be like, yo, my friend like added you because they want to see what you're doing in Russia, that kind of thing. So that led me in. So that was like tied in with Instagram. So I was like, wait a minute, this is happening on Snapchat. This is going to happen on Instagram where people are going to follow people just for their lifestyle. And then I started going hard on Instagram when I retired. I started going hard into fitness and all of that. And that kind of started building me a real following. And then TikTok came out. And when TikTok came out, it was like exactly what I was posting on Snapchat was what everybody was posting on TikTok. Raw videos that were just off of your camera roll with like literally 3 words over them. And these were getting shown to the world.
Right.
Like 5 million views, 3 million views, whatever. So I was like, oh, this is going to be enormous. Like I know how it felt with people on Snapchat when I was just documenting and giving my raw thoughts. This is going to be huge. And so TikTok was really like the thing that I like ultimately dove into that built what's going on now.
When did you find out you could monetize? Not find out, but when did you actually take the next step to being able to monetize your content?
After the year in Russia, I came back to the US. I thought I was going to probably get a chance at playing in either the not in the NHL, but for sure in the league below it and getting like a really good contract.
What's it called?
AHL. I ended up coming back. I ended up getting no contract. My agent hadn't planned for the next league down, so I had no place to go the next league down. So I went to 2 tryouts, and they were max cap for their salary cap. So like, we can't keep you. And it just was like 3 different major rejections after being in Russia.
Just chopping you down at the legs. Go back to LA.
Exactly. For me, it was just like a big like sign of like, look, the time of hockey is, you're good with it. You're happy. You've scratched the itch. You've done like the thing. You played in the equivalent of the NHL in Russia. There's nothing more that you like are really trying to aspire to do or prove to yourself. And I took that and was like, I think I'm going to retire. But I ended up getting a call to go to France and play. And France is like basically like a daycare, just like summer league, have fun. You do get paid. It is a competitive league. Like, they take it very serious, but it's not as intense as Russia. And a lot of guys go there and actually have jobs in France and play and just like work and travel.
Do you get health insurance when you do this?
No,
I
don't think so.
Because
maybe I did.
You know what I'm saying? You're playing hockey.
I had a team with a doctor and stuff, so I wasn't worried about that. I'm sure you do. Russia, I don't know.
Yeah, it's you got to follow my boy JT. He's in the Russian army.
Yeah, something like that.
You got to see how he's living over there.
Something like that. And so France, for me, once I got the call to go to France, it was like, cool. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna treat it like a part-time job. I'm gonna play, but then all of my time outside of the rink, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do when I retire. During that whole time, I had met who's my now fiance, and I watched her go from literally being a Los Angeles actress and model, not having any following, to going really deep into health and wellness, stopping acting and modeling and really wanting to like get into health and wellness, building a following and monetizing it through brand deals. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. For sure. I love fitness. I love wellness. I'm going to film my workouts. There's not a lot of guys doing this. Like, we're talking about Brian. He's like one of the only dudes. There was like Devin. There was a handful of guys that were doing it. And I was like, this is going to be a thing that more people will show this. So I want to go and do that. And I can work with a lot of the same brands that my fiance is working with because they're unisex and like I would use the product anyway. So I went home and started filming workouts, built my audience on Instagram to probably like 40-ish thousand.
So when you started doing that, were there principles that Sammy was using? Like, did she have some principles that she was using that you're like, all right, I need to do that.
For sure.
I need to do that.
Because I had been doing creative on MySpace, Facebook, Snapchat, and then Instagram all the way up to before meeting Sam, I like knew platforms. I like really understood it. So when I met her and she was like, I'm going to go really hard into wellness, I was like, fuck yeah, let me help. If there's any way I can help, I'm here for it. So I watched her start to do it. I helped her find somebody that was like a consultant, that was like a social media strategist that could give her different days of the week. Like Monday is going to be like morning routines and Tuesday is going to be like your workout of the day. And Wednesday, so get structured with it. And I watched her like really treat it like a business. And when that happened and it actually grew, I was like, oh, this is a business. Like, this is legit. So I followed the same principles. Like when I came back, I was like, every Monday I'm going to post like a workout. Every Tuesday I'm going to post like my meal of the day. Every Wednesday I'm going to post like a quote, like whatever was needed on Instagram at that time. I did that. It worked for me. But I realized at the time that right around the time TikTok came out, I realized I love fitness, but I don't want my business to be fitness and wellness. Right. It's my foundation. Right. It's like wellness is like underlies all the business shit that I do. But it's not what I don't like get. I don't get as excited as my fiance does about like filming one of my workouts or teaching somebody a workout. I really cared about the strategy behind it. And so as much as all of that was working for me, when I went into Honey House with Nick, I was doing the influencer postings. That was my like money, was doing brand deals as a fitness person. I knew there was like something else that was like that I was really passionate about. So that's why when I got the deal with Poppy to consult, I was like, oh, if this works, and it actually crushed it for them, this is going to be sick because this is what I've been really loving. That was what I loved about Honey House, was like me and him doing the strategy and it working and it turning into a business. And so, yeah, so then when it hit with Poppy, it like really came full circle. It was like what I had been kind of like leading up to. And then that's why I started the business.
So now with the amount of content that you put out, a lot of the content, if not most of the content, is for creators by creators on how to innovate, how to move your business forward. That's fucking awesome. Do you still keep to the same principles that you were using for the health and wellness, and now with the helping creators become better creators?
Yeah. Like a big thing I think that I talk about a lot is that you have to have series. You have to have recurring pieces of content that people can know you for
On the same day of the week.
It doesn't need to be the same day of the week, but I think that that's like a helpful tip for a lot of people that really have a challenge with structure, because most creative people are very unstructured, which is good. Which I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think that's part of creativity, is like just being a little bit all over the place at times. But I think a lot of people need a little bit more order to run it like a business. So the thing that I think helps a lot of people is like a content calendar. Like, think about what you would post on Monday and Tuesday and every day of the week. What's something that you could do every day that you can now know and pre-film shit for, so you can have a little bit more structure in your creative?
Do you have a content calendar?
Oh yeah,
you do. But do you have one for other people
that people can buy?
Yeah,
I do. I have Notion templates.
There you go.
Yeah, so people can do that. I think it's actually free on my site. You can have one.
Oh.
That you could get.
You should wanna
link it, go check it out.
Nah, why don't you put a dollar amount on it?
I have like a Notion thing that's like every Notion template that we've used. That's like a bundle, and then I have a couple ones that are free.
Cool.
But I think the structure thing is important. So a majority of the things that I was doing with Sam as an influencer are now directly related to what I'm doing now with creators, because it's the same thing. A lot of people that I'm working with are creators in health and wellness. So I'm telling them the same things that Sam has learned and that she's done and done really well. It's like, you need to be community focused. Don't monetize too early. Stay consistent. Put a content calendar together. Treat it like a business. Build a team around you.
Don't monetize too early. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And talking with Max when he first started Siegelman Stable, I was with Ed Hardy for about 4 years. So I saw Max's virality, and I'm thinking back 15 years ago when, they just like flooded the hats. Von Dutch, Ed Hardy, Von Dutch, Ed Hardy. I'm like, dude, make more. Why are you're only putting out 120 of this colorway? Do 1,200. It's like, no. And he slowly drip.
Wow.
Exclusivity. Seeing people who really want it, like celebrities that really want it, they can't have it because it just doesn't exist. Hey, can you send my talent this hat? And it's like someone with 10 million followers. It's like, physically can't do it.
I couldn't even buy hats from him.
Yeah. It's very special to see.
Yeah, it is. It's dope.
So what does the next 6 months look like? Going into Q4, what do the next 6 months look like for you and your company?
Majority of the brands that we work with are in consumer packaged goods, so the CPG world.
Like Poppy.
Like Poppy. Super Coffee, Poppy. Like a lot of those are in that like food and beverage, sometimes beauty, personal care, lifestyle, but a lot of like CPG. And majority of those brands right now are really needing to have successful velocity at retail, which means the product. So it means a lot of people before, when the pandemic happened, everybody was like, nobody's going to shop in grocery stores anymore. Nobody's going to go back out and everything's going to go online. And so everybody went really hard online. And now with everything opening, now it's kind of trickling back into people are really going back into stores, particularly grocery stores, to buy their foods. They're not ordering things online.
This has been for a year and a half now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now direct to consumer for a lot of CPG companies, there's two things that really affected it. One, everybody going back into stores. And two, Apple put out an update to their security on iOS 13 that stopped phones to allow data to be shared with third-party companies. So like the way that Instagram ads and Facebook ads and all that used to work is they had a lot of access to your data on your phone. So anytime you searched anything on Chrome or Safari or whatever, all of that data would get shared with Facebook. Now Apple has changed it and they cut off all of that data. So Facebook and all of that doesn't have that data anymore. So Facebook ads and Instagram ads and literally every social media's ads are not nearly as effective as they were 3 years ago.
So how are they feeding you ads? Like, I feel like, if we're talking about we're talking about Prada sunglasses and we're just talking about it, Prada, and we say it twice. I go on Instagram and scroll down. I'm going to have
believe
an ad.
that's a different kind of ad. So there's tons of different styles of ads and ways that people get the data. But I believe that's a different style that actually goes through like your microphone and
Got it.
It's more of like getting really specific with your targeting that people can't do anymore that they could do before, which is like, I want this ad to show in front of anybody that's seen X, Y, and Z post in the last 10 hours and they're going to be in New Jersey and they're in this demo, and just the way that you could like specifically reach that person. You could do that at scale before, and you could do it cheaply.
Literally down to a button.
Yeah. And so before, a lot of these brands would just spend a ton of money getting their ads in front of that person. And there was like a formula to it to where it would really work and it would convert. And so brands would crush it direct to consumer, and that'd be their playbook. They'd be like, we're going to go all direct to consumer. We don't care as much about people buying things in stores. We want them to buy online. Now with people going back in stores and that security update, it's very hard to be a direct to consumer only brand for a lot of these CPG companies. So they're all pushing retail. So they're all like, we need people going in the stores, getting our product off of the shelves and buying it, because all of these retailers like Wegmans and Whole Foods and Costco and Walmart and Target, they will only keep brands in their store if the product is moving off the shelves. Like they won't keep a brand in there if they have their product on the shelves and they don't sell anything, because it's taking up space from other companies that could be there and actually be selling it. So all of these companies now are like, we need to figure out retail. We got to like be better in retail. We got to understand how to get product off the shelves at retail. So you're asking me what the next 6 months of my company will be. I think we're going to do a big shift into understanding how to help brands at retail rather than just before it was like really pushing direct to consumer. So really helping them online.
Does this kind of educate people on as to where to buy things, like going into Costco and seeing Super Coffee in Costco,
exactly,
and making a video like a creator like popping into Costco?
Yep.
Here's my Super Coffee. Here I'm home drinking my Super Coffee I got from Costco.
Yeah, exactly like that. Things like that. Things like, hey guys, today is my Target haul. Look at everything that I got from Target. I got this makeup and I got this coffee. It's Super Coffee. I love this stuff. I get it every time I go to Target. It's usually found in this section, like that.
I love it.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing for us right now. Because I think that's something that we can really be effective with.
Do you have a company that might be like a grail piece, like a company that is like a company you really want to work with that you haven't worked with yet? That like if you work with them, and not to bring up the past, but it might be the equivalent of the NHL.
Not really. Like a lot of the ones that I really love, like Midday Squares is a smaller one that I love, and they're a company that I think does an amazing job with content. So they're dope.
Well, I'm thinking like
legacy brands.
Yeah, like Mad Men. Like, you know,
Apple,
when he got Coca-Cola in Mad Men, that was like the epic moment. He finally got it.
A lot of that for me is ego, though. Like a lot of that for me is like the accolades that I like. We've worked with Nissan, Skechers, Microsoft, Best Western, like bigger companies now.
It's a big company,
and it's not necessarily that I like. I don't enjoy it more. I don't enjoy it less or more.
Maybe even enjoy it less, because these are big companies, and you would rather help the smaller company get out to the masses.
Well, it's even more the fact that I think the smaller companies are more agile and you can do more because they're flexible. Whereas big companies can't move. Here's the way I look at it. Big companies move like a semi-truck. Smaller companies move like a Mini Cooper. So you can just like cut corners quicker and kind of like move. And that's how I am as a creator. I like to move. I like to like do things and try new things always. And I think that companies that we work with, I want them to be like, I want to be like, oh, this new platform just came out. We need to test this. Let's go.
So you want to have the autonomy from the companies because they're hiring you because of your expertise. So if they don't give you the autonomy, it's kind of like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. And a lot of the bigger ones want to, but they can't because their infrastructure is just so big that they can't move that way. So then it just gets to be like, all right, well, we got to find the right size companies to where it's like there's enough room there to move, but it's also like not too big to where it's like we can't do this because it's too much red tape. Enough room and not too much. So I think that's kind of like the place, because obviously smaller companies' budgets are smaller, so bigger companies you get more for the actual job. But I don't think that necessarily equates to enjoyment for me. So we're kind of like in the middle. I think mid-sized companies is where we like. But yeah, I think retail is a big thing.
Okay, so that's going to consume a lot of the next 6 months.
Yeah, and then my content, like
Tell me more.
long-term play for me, I think is I want to be a big creator. I want to have millions on
How much bigger can you get?
a lot bigger.
How many followers do you have on YouTube?
None.
None?
Just started my YouTube like a month ago.
Got it. So your main source, your main outlets right now are Instagram,
TikTok,
and
Instagram, LinkedIn. That's a curveball. LinkedIn,
which is a massive community.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to be active on LinkedIn, post one day, post the next day, and then just like falls to the wayside.
You need a content calendar.
I do need a content calendar. And I have,
helps.
the thing is I have the content. It's just a matter of knowing, all right, you know what, you're right. It's just a matter of knowing, kind of like going to the gym. I know I want to do 8 reps of this, 8 reps of this, and we'll do a superset. If I just superset every day, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn.
There you go.
There you go.
And I used to
use that.
Yeah. And I used to do a thing on LinkedIn that was like every Monday I would do a case study of a brand that's crushing TikTok. And it was literally called like brands that are crushing TikTok right now. And I just knew that every Monday this is going up. I got to do something on Sunday or the week before that's going to get this ready because this is going to happen on Monday.
And there was preparation for that because you had to find a brand that you thought was valuable enough to throw in on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did it take you to then record the content for that stuff?
It would be written. So sometimes it'd just be a screenshot of the brand's TikTok and then I would just go right and you can schedule it. So I would schedule it and it would go up on Monday.
Amazing.
It's really not that challenging.
No, and that
video is a lot. Video is a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube is an even higher level because it's longer and deeper.
Yeah.
So I think that I think YouTube, you can, that's why it's the platform that you can build the biggest community on. Because anytime, like think about for Instagram or TikTok, you're spending maybe 1 to 2 minutes and it's audio and it's visual and there's even like text on it and stuff like that. For YouTube, that's 5 to 10x with the amount of time that a typical video is. So you're just getting more, you're just being able to relate deeper. So the people that really crush YouTube, like really have a connection with their audience. So that's what I want. So I think that's the goal.
And with YouTube, there's also different layers on it. There's a description, there's the tags, there's most importantly, the thumbnail, which, you know, one thumbnail could make a difference from X amount of views.
Yeah. So that's new. Long-term for me, I think is I want to build that. I want to have 1 million on YouTube. I want to have 1 million on Instagram. I want to have 1 million on TikTok. Those won't be the marks that will necessarily when I will start launching products. But at some point where I look at my community, I'm like, oh, this is really built in. I'll look at all the products that are in my content frequently. And I'll be like, oh, nobody's innovated the tripod. Nobody's innovated the ring light. Nobody's innovated this. Cool. Let me see if I can find a manufacturer and we could actually make this a better version of this.
Right. So you're thinking retail. Like I automatically think like Jesse Eitzler's, he has some sort of challenge calendar that he sells.
Yeah.
And that's where my head is going with you, where it's more of a digital product that could be monetized kind of like a content calendar, but a content calendar that kind of like an NFT maybe comes with a bi-monthly 30-minute meeting with JT.
It could be a digital product. Like I've done the digital products right now, but there's something that I like something I like about having a physical thing. Like this is what my, like I'm seeing this right now with my fiance. She launched the app. App is crushing. But I think like getting to see people wear her apparel or she has a journal.
It's right here.
Yeah. Or the journal or they have, they do like a Palo Santo set, like seeing people post that. And it's like a physical thing that people have. I think there's something to be said about that. Especially if it's something that people can buy continually.
Right. So, it's something that you created, that she created, that are touching people, that's making them feel better. It's making them better people.
Yep.
And that's special.
I agree. So that's my playbook right now is, and alongside of that, the whole time I'll continue doing the business stuff because the agency, BARNETT X, Creator X, they fuel my content team. So the amount of people that I can add, I love the amount of people that are in this basement down here.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What I do with my company stuff will fund my own content team. So the more that the agency stuff crushes it, the more people I just reinvest into adding people to my own content. And the content then actually brings in more clients. So then they fuel each other. So my thing is like, exactly. So once it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, I I think I want to get 20. Right now I have 2 people on my content team. I want to have probably 20 people that are on my content team, people that help with ideas, all different. Like once you get into the real weeds, then you have people that are specific, copywriter, like audio, video, somebody that literally just does creative direction, somebody that does certain types of edits. So I want all of that. And then you turn yourself into...
This is going to be massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah. You're speaking it into existence. Give me one word of advice for anyone trying to make it.
Self-awareness. It's 2 words. But that's the most important. Because if you don't know yourself, you won't know your content. You'll do shit because somebody told you to do it. You'll do shit because you saw it somewhere. You'll do shit because it's unconsciously moving you. Getting to know yourself is the first step of starting anything, in my opinion.
Just you versus you.
Yeah. Or you with you.
I like that better. And now give me a book recommendation. I guess first, what are you reading right now?
Dude, I don't read a lot.
Did you read it all?
I used to read a ton.
What about Audibles?
Reading. Nope.
No?
Podcasts I like.
Okay.
YouTube I like. The reason why I don't read as much, when I was going through the hockey shit, when I was like retiring, I was reading a ton. Like I'm talking
Paperback.
2 books a month, 3 books a month.
Jesus.
Flipping through, and it was all like a lot of self-help, a lot of like Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, Eckhart Tolle, Jay Shetty, like all these.
I'm picturing you like Russian army in a dorm, just like freezing on a cot, like using like a little flashlight to read.
Basically, that's the visual.
Okay.
On a train.
So you read all these books.
I was reading a lot of books. I stopped playing hockey. And the thing about the books is like a lot of people speak in absolutes. So it's like, you can't do this. Or if you want to figure out how to win at life, you must do this. So I would read it. And I'm like in a place where I'm like trying to absorb knowledge because I'm like, shit, I want to figure out what's next for my life. So I would read the book and I'd be like, cool, got it. This is what I need to do. Then a week later, I would read another book and it'd be like, you need to do this. And it'd be like a different thing. So I'd be like, shit, all right, cool. Like I need to do this. And it got to that point where I was like, I have so many people telling me what I need to do that I can't even hear myself. So I was like, I'm going to put all of the books down and like literally cut cold turkey. I'm going to put all the books down and I'm just going to go and listen to myself and see like what I actually feel like I want to do. And so I stopped reading then, and then I just haven't picked it up since.
What's one book that you would recommend for everybody though? Out of all these books, like it's the piggyback on what you just said, it's funny. So like 4-hour work week.
Mm-hmm.
The people who read that and think like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. No, you grab like 15% of the book that you implement in your life. And then you read another one, absolutes. The whole book is an absolute. Grab 15% and add it onto the pie.
Love that. A lot of people don't think that way.
It's crazy. It's
especially
like,
people that are like in a, like, I don't even want to say vulnerable, but like are in like a place where they're like
those are the
trying
most,
to.
Absolutely. Like where you were.
Yeah. Trying to like figure out a stage of life or understand something. And then they're like, this person knows it. Give me 100% of this. So yeah, doing it that way, love it. And I'm not against reading books. It's just, right now, I just don't feel like it's needed.
Yeah.
I am reading a book right now. It's funny that you said this because I just got back.
There we go, Mr. I don't read books.
Here we go. Let me tell you what this is. I'm really big on sauna and ice bath.
Okay.
I have a sauna and an ice bath at my house.
Okay. What type of ice bath?
Cold plunge is the ice bath and
Okay.
cold plunge is the sauna. They make a sauna now. Cold plunge. And give you a statistic. The number 1 happiest country in the world every year is Finland. 6 years in a row. Want to know what they equate it to? Where do you think the saunas were started from?
Finland?
Yep. And Finland has like 2 million lakes within the country, and they attribute a vast majority of their happiness to hot and cold. And so the book that I'm reading right now is literally,
I love this.
It's got to be like a children's book. Like it's probably like 70 or 80 pages. It's like it's called like the Finnish way of life. It's either the Finnish way of life or the Finnish culture. And the reason why I'm reading is because I'm just very deep in the sauna life right now and like understanding that, because anybody that goes into sauna consistently for a month, sauna and cold plunge for a month, will recognize
Started doing that like
that
2 months
it is
ago.
A game changer.
Every day.
It's absurd.
Every day. I go sauna for, try to go up to 20 minutes, but like
Cool.
10 to 20 minutes. If I got time more than that, right into
Cold shower.
ice cold shower.
Love that.
Been amazing.
What kind of sauna?
It's at Lifetime Fitness.
Oh, cool.
So
it's a traditional one.
Yeah, like 100,
rocks.
180 degrees. Yeah,
Cool.
it's awesome.
The traditional ones where you actually have the water pouring on the rocks are way better than the infrared.
So I went to Bathhouse in Williamsburg where they had that. They had this whole ritual.
Sick.
They threw snowballs.
Yeah, and it melts on the rock.
Cones. They threw snowballs on there and then poured essential oils on it.
Yeah, we do that.
And got the towel going around.
It's great.
It's fucking epic.
Dude, it's all, so that's all Finnish traditions that we use.
This is like a aha moment. I got a buddy of mine who lives in Westport who 5 years ago had this idea for a recovery studio, but like ice bath, sauna, journaling, small place, 500 square feet with just recovery stuff 5 years ago. A few months ago, he hits me up. He's like, I really want to act on this. Do you think it's too late? I'm like, no. You were ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're with the curve.
Yeah.
Get off your fucking ass and do this. And he's been trying to think of a name for it. And I think something that like comes back to the Finnish way
Sick.
is a great name for a recovery studio in Westport. The Finnish way.
The Finnish way.
You like
I
that?
love that. Yeah.
It's very cool.
I mean, dude, they're like one of the darkest countries in the world, and for them to be the happiest still,
It's nuts.
It's crazy. So yeah, so that's a book that I actually am reading right now.
Say the name again.
I literally went on Amazon and typed in Finnish culture, and I think it was like one of the top 3
And you
things.
enjoy it.
Love it. It's about a New York girl that actually, it's literally about a New York journalist that went to Finland and thought she was going to be there for a second and ended up staying for like a couple years because she fell in love with the culture.
It's amazing.
Simplicity and nature and all that. That's a book that I would recommend if people are into cold plunge and sauna. But another one that I would actually recommend if you wanted one that I like is called Start With Why, Simon Sinek.
Yep.
That's one that I read multiple times that I think still to this day, there's a lot of it that applies to what I do of just like, that is like self-awareness, having a reason to do it, intention behind what you're doing.
My dude.
This is fun.
Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your week here in New York.
Thank you.
And if you liked what you heard today, which everybody loved what they heard today, I am inspired. JT could be found at?
Everything is just JT Barnett, BARNETT.
Hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and see you soon.
Cool.
Dude, that was good.
That was fun. That was a good one.
That was really good.